Yeah, dude, I was figuring that out. I was figuring out, well, I don't know what
I used to not be a big pillow guy, but now I am. Well, I a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting older. In my old age, I'm using pillows. Let me give it a proper intro, guys. Welcome to I'm Up with Anthony Santino. Today on the show, I have Max Fine. He's the second Max Fine I've had on the show.
Yeah, how many people have you had on the show?
This is episode number 9, I think.
Out of 9, so 2 Max Fines in the first 10.
That's too many.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
This Max, just like every other person I've had on the show, is a comedian.
hell yeah. Just like the other Max.
just like the other Max, who released a special or an album recently. Go watch it. Did he release the video version too, or no? Because there are videos of it.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. I can't be positive.
Yeah, because I listened to the album.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, but the video that he's been posting clips of looks really good too. So I want to see if he has that available.
Yeah, dude, he's running the Max Fine community. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
he's crushing it.
We're waiting for your special, man. That's
yeah, dude. Next. So am I, man. Oh yeah.
At some point in time, it'll happen.
2030. Finer days ahead. It's gonna
2030. No, I mean, we're taking. How do you view that, by the way? So you how many years are you into stand up? If that's
just just hit 2 years in New York.
There we go.
That's where I count.
Same. I'm 2 years as well.
Right on.
There we go. Where are you from originally?
San Francisco.
There we go.
And a lot of people tell me I talk with a southern accent.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm sorry.
See, so I've heard you say that on stage.
Yeah.
That you're from San Francisco, and I thought it was a bit.
No, yeah, I had a good friend the other day that a good comic friend I was talking to, and I was just telling someone else in front of them I'm from San Francisco, and they went, "Wait, you're not from Texas?" Like sincerely.
I was gonna say like Mississippi.
Oh yeah,
whatever. So no, that's interesting. No, you have a good voice, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
How was San Francisco growing up for you?
It was awesome. I mean, until people told me I talked different, it was great.
Did San Franciscans? Is that what they're called?
It's San Franciscans. The only one you really don't ever say is San Fran.
Yeah.
If someone says San Fran, then you know.
Yeah, it sounds like they pay too much for their taco.
Yeah.
It's
it's because what is that? It's not a short. SF is short.
SF is short. Those are
Frisco is fun.
Yeah.
The Bay, but
I feel like you have to be black to say the Bay.
Really? let's start the podcast.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree.
I might become black just so I can say the Bay.
Whoa, my God. Yeah, I mean, that'd be the crazy. You know how funny it would be if you're like you became black and that's the word you wanted to say.
Yeah.
Just the Bay.
Like I did all this work to become black, and now I can finally say the Bay.
This is crazy that this just goes on the internet.
Why not? No, but we're not saying anything bad.
No. I mean, you let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's provocative, but it's not. It gets the people going.
Yeah,
no, it's. I don't think it's anything bad. Also, I'll address 2 things. One, but 2, my voice is bad right now. Like it's thrown out.
Sure.
I don't know if it's because last night I had a few beers, or I don't think it was. I think I was talking loud last night. I did talk loud because I was at a loud place.
You're talking loud. Okay.
Yeah, so I was at a loud place, and I teach tennis as well as doing comedy. Like,
right.
Until the comedy really pops off. Like I'm teaching tennis for a little while longer.
Even when the comedy pops off.
well, you know what I'm saying. I mean, pops up. There are people, dude. Like there are comics who like we've never heard of. Who are like apparently they make like $700,000 a year. So that's awesome. We're gonna make that happen in a few years, dude.
Yeah.
Manifest. It is a lot of manifesting. You know.
Not
in a cheesy like Ouija board kind of way. I mean, like in a real way. Like in a real. We're out here doing. We were just talking before. Like you got to wake up early sometimes, and then you like can't nap in the afternoon. You just get right to comedy, right?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do what you do. I mean, I don't know. You have to. I don't. It doesn't. You have to work at it, otherwise it just won't happen. I don't know whether that's I think it's just about the work, really. I mean, obviously, talent is incredibly helpful, and that will take you farther.
Yeah.
But if you don't put the work in every day, like all the time, it just won't. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, there's
coming from someone that's done it for 2 years, but I mean,
no, but it's true, and you've made good inroads for 2 years. I'd like to say.
I mean, I think I've done as much as I can. I think that's all you know. If you sincerely try, right, to get better every day.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Max Max produces shows. Yeah, I know you produced the one at your house. Like,
Yeah.
So Max lives like 4 doors away from me.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, they do.
Yeah,
It's my first time here though.
Yeah, the first time inside. I never let you inside before. You weren't on the list, but like now you are today.
Yeah, you gave me a ride home from work a couple weeks ago.
I did.
That was very sweet. It was raining. It was.
You're welcome. I mean, I saw you at work.
One of my coworkers was like, "Oh yeah, that's real nice."
That's nice to have a good rep over there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
I love your place, dude.
Thank you. You've been, I guess it is. You've been to where I work.
I've been to where you work a bunch of times. I go there.
Yeah, it's I work at Trader Joe's. It's not like an office.
Dude,
just coming in.
Best place to get your groceries ever. I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm on a kick. A long kick.
A long kick. Yeah, I mean, like I haven't shopped at another grocery store since I've been worked there. I mean, I don't know.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. Why? I mean, yeah. It seems.
If you go to my fridge right now, it looks like I'm joining the TJ cult. Like Trader Joe's kind of owns my life a little bit, dude.
Like what?
no, but in a good way. Like what's good too is that I feel like they seasonally change things up as well. Like,
oh yeah,
they have like pumpkin spice popcorn and shit.
Oh yeah,
like,
we'll spice every popcorn.
They do. I like the what is it the salt, the herb and spice like popcorn.
Yeah,
I have that one.
Okay, yeah,
yeah. I'm indoctrinated, dude. I'm
welcome to the. I get a lot of crap at work because I have yogurt every day. I just eat yogurt at work.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of yogurt.
Like you're in the back, you're just like chowing yogurt.
Yeah, I always not. Yeah, I mean a bit of It's not everything, but it is a lot of it.
It's a lot. What kind of yogurt? Are you doing the overnight oats and stuff?
No, I would never.
You're like, yo.
You know, it's even crazy. It's the purple vegan cashew creamy yogurt, and it's delicious. And I'm not vegan. Don't even really particularly like cashews, but it's delicious. It's vanilla. I have 2 cups of it a day, and then I either have a salad, which is tough to say out loud.
Why not? Why can't you have a salad?
Because I used to be cool, dude.
I used to be cool and like
cooler. Yeah, dude, having salads for lunch.
Well, what do you have in the salad? That's worth judging.
I've had the green goddess salad.
Okay, yas. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are good. Green goddess dressing's good.
It was. I mean, it was good. The green goddess. I have the chickpea salad. I don't know. I mean, saying chickpeas is great. And then other times I'll have salami and cheese and the roll we sell, and that's pretty much what I've had for the past 2 years.
What roll? You guys sell a roll?
They're like the pretzel roll. That's what they're called.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Nice. And have you been at Trader Joe's the whole time you've been in New York, or did different?
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
I moved here October 2021. October 13th, 2021. I got my apartment October 23rd. I think I started Trader Joe's. Started stand-up November 1st. I think I started Trader Joe's like November 5th. A couple weeks.
Did you move to New York being like, I'm going to start stand-up in New York, or did you start in San Francisco?
Yeah, no, actually, I started in San Diego. I did. I was in college in I was in college in San Diego in my last couple months. UC San Diego.
There we go.
Go Tritons. And I had my last couple months of college. I was like, I've always wanted to try this. I've always really wanted to do this. And I tried it in my last couple months, and then I go, oh, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I was like, New York's where it's at. That's what it's known for. Let's move out here. And after I graduated, so I did stand up for like 2 months in San Diego. So I start my start date the first day I did in New York. That's kind of how I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got to New York.
Yeah, that's when I say it started. The rest was, it was just when I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. When I moved out here.
That's why. How do your like family and friends feel about it?
They're honestly, I was talking about it with some other buddies of mine about how lucky I am. I mean, I don't know how it is for you, but everyone was so unbelievably on board. They were like, you not even like, oh, good for you. They're like, no, you should do that. Like
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was such a bummer before. The amount it's brought peace to my life in terms of, because every day when things aren't going good or long days or things happen, I would just even then I would go, all right, well, what do I want to in this world? And I go, oh, I just want to be better at stand up. So I go, okay, then just do that. Like, there's not like, oh, I wish I was doing this other. And when I was in this other part of my life, I was going, even when things were going good, or I was like, I wish I was doing this other thing.
You're definitely doing what you love right now.
Yeah, 100%. And it brings this kind of, and I was just denying myself then because I didn't think I deserved it. Or why would I be someone that could do that?
Yeah.
And everything else, I was just so bummed out all the time. And
yeah.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's very lucky that my family is on board. Cause
that's great.
I know people that aren't as lucky about that, and that's such a hard battle, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like my parents, they're very supportive of me. They do so much for me, but they have like this quiet gripe with it. I think where they're like. They believe in me and my mom.
Sure.
Like, they think I'm smart enough, talented enough to do it. They think I'm funny. But then, ironically, on the flip side, I think they worry a lot about it. They're like, I think they would definitely they'd rather me do something else. But they do give me encouragement and care. It's just like they have their days where they're like, like they don't know. And it just, I also don't share every piece of excitement because of that a little bit. Right. But I have these conversations with them. Like, they get it. Like, we've had talks and I've been explicit, like, why I know I'll make it work no matter what. Like, I'll find my lane. I'll find my path. Like,
sure, it's
exciting. I love it. I need it to breathe. Like, the whole thing. Like just similarly to you, it's like I know that I have to do this and I want to do this and I love this. Like, dude, even if it's a show with 2 people at it, like, I'm not bummed out about that. I'm like, we got 2 people here. This is fun. Let's go.
Right.
Like, this is what I need in my life,
Oh, you certainly. It's just very like, and it gets hard to always keep it in perspective. That's for sure. When it gets tougher, you're doing those shows for 2. But then you go on. I mean, you think back to how you would have looked at it a year ago, and you would have killed to have been doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's. Yeah, I mean, I get why people would worry.
Yeah.
Because it is not conventional, and it is...
Right.
It's...
I always argue that people have always been doing this. Like, in some capacity, people have always lived outside the box. Like, I know there were times in history where, like, there was a little less of it, and you didn't hear about it as much. But, just because we hear about it now doesn't mean it's like, that Bob Dylan became like a guitarist in the Village or,
right.
He popped. Some people popped early, but it's like, Rodney Dangerfield, he didn't start till he was older. Like, he was like a roofer in Long Island or something, like he was like throwing pastries at people. I don't know. He was doing something else besides comedy. And then,
it's just you're playing a different game than everyone else.
But your mind and your heart tell you like you have to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the point of all of this. It's like you got to go where you feel like you need to be.
Yeah, and where you're what you want. It makes life way more fun. It makes life. I think I think you're often. I don't know. I think the way I view stand up is if I didn't want to do this, then I wouldn't. Like if that
exactly
the day it's not fun. I was at a open mic right before this, and a girl came up and she had to do it for a college class. She was a journalist or whatever, and she said, "My assignment is to face my fears." And she to do 5 minutes or whatever, and she asked me right before, because I was telling her how I do it every day, and she said, "Oh, does it ever get boring?" And I thought about that because I'd never been asked that or thought about it, and I was like, no, not one day was it ever boring.
Never boring.
Never boring. Never tiring. Boring.
Yes.
Painful. Awesome. Exhausting. Stressful. Not fun. But never boring.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment.
And if it ever got boring, I'd stop. But that's why it rules. As I don't think it'll ever be boring to me.
No.
Because it's just this race with yourself.
Yeah. Well, we do material. Sometimes we riff or whatever. But it's like even when you're doing the same material sometimes or like the same section of things, like you get different audiences. Like it might explode in one room. Might not in another. It could be because of you, could be because of them. It's a mixture. Like so even that thing has its own life every night.
Yeah.
You know?
It's different. It's like It's like baseball, right? It's the same game hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, but every game is there's never the exact same game. And it might be boring to watch. It's never boring to play.
Never.
Not if you love baseball. I mean, it is kind of like that, where it's like it's just, it's never exactly the same. And especially if you're trying to get better, whereas music can be a lot closer to the same. Comedy always has to evolve.
Yeah.
You're not going to play the same hit song for 15 years. Like
right. Which I like about it. I like that you wanted to freshen up.
Oh, yeah, I love it and I hate it. It would be great if you had, this will work forever. No, it's...
and you could do it and it could hit, but it's not the same.
Yeah, and I think I know, and I think that's why my family, again, I'm lucky that they're so on board, is I don't think there would be a thing that I would have where I didn't get bored.
Yeah.
And I think boredom, if you get really bored, is a very easy way to get quite sad. And I mean, something I've experienced, and you just get lost. And
yeah, I've been very depressed before comedy.
Yeah, I mean, just through boredom. I mean, through really just not being interested in what you did. It's an exciting thing to have. And I think if that interest went elsewhere, then that's what I would do. I mean, I think that's...
Yeah, you got to just follow it. Like people in Ireland say, follow your nose, just wherever your nose goes, just follow
just
your
like
nose.
the people in Ireland.
Someone said to because we were in Cork, Ireland once, like my mom's full Irish, my dad's like Italian and stuff. And like, he's like a type A New York dude. And like, we got directions from a guy, like when we were in the rental car, like on a street in Cork, Ireland.
Sure.
And the guy's like, oh, he said some gibberish. And then he's like, yeah, follow your nose. And my dad's like, he's like, follow my what? Like, what if I turn right? Like, I follow it that way? Like, I don't know. So, long way of saying I agree with you. Like, you just basically follow your nose. Like, I follow your gut. And, like, with comedy, it's like, my whole life I've loved it. Like, mostly just started watching sitcoms and SNL. And then, like, saw, like, Dave Chappelle Killing Him Softly. And, like, saw, like, an Amy Schumer half hour in high school. I was like, oh, like, this is good. This was, like, tight. Like, I thought the joke writing was so tight. I was like, this is great. Like on Comedy Central at 11 p.m. or whatever, And then got to college. My buddy Devin, I went to Sacred Heart University in Connecticut. My buddy Devin put me, a shout out to him, put me onto a lot of stuff. Like I had a cold one weekend and he just like sent me Burr specials. He's like, oh dude, like you gotta watch all of this guy's stuff. He had like 2 or 3 specials on Netflix at that time. And I was like, this opened my world up. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And you just go from there and you find your people.
I think definitely something I forget for me is how much you love it in terms of like watching it and how cool it was to, like, just because then once you're around it so much, I think I certainly definitely lose the appreciation for it, but you forget those guys, like all the first time you saw Burr, or the first time you saw Mulaney, or the first time you saw Louis, and just like,
I think it's all amazing
how it blew your I mean, I definitely have lost that, which I'm hoping to find again at some point, but just
lost what, like when you watch comics on TV or in person.
Not in person. In person, I'm still pretty good with. In person, I think the bar is higher because I watch so much to really blow my mind. But I've probably only watched maybe 3 specials this year.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't watch any. Like, I love Gillis's. Did you watch Gillis's?
I saw Gillis's.
His was great, I thought.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked the first.
You hated it. I'm just kidding.
I honestly, his first one, Live from Austin, is one of my favorite of all time. That movie, or that special, excuse me. I thought I saw him like 2 months before the special came out, and then like his second show after the special came out, and it was just seeing. I'm a huge fan of his, but
like newer stuff, like that.
Doing really newer stuff, like 2 days after the special, newer stuff.
Cool, yeah, he's stocking up.
And I saw him do the gay Vikings joke at the stand before this, and I was on the floor. It was one of the funniest, hardest ever. So that I still keep, but I saw that Morel's special, and
Sam's was good too.
Yeah, and Bargatze I saw.
Yeah,
and again, they're all good. I don't watch a lot of.
It's
them.
better in person stand up.
It's way better.
You feel the energy, like stakes for the guy or the girl or the person on stage. You're just like, oh, they're high or they're elevated.
Yeah, it's like hearing about a story and kind of seeing like
you feel them more.
Yeah, it's so much better.
Yeah. Well, cuts get in the way, like camera cuts and stuff.
Oh,
Like, I get wrapped up in that. I think my brain is like fixating on some of that stuff, so I can check out easier.
It's weird, yeah.
But
Who were when you said you watched sitcoms as a kid and all that? Who were the big influences? The big sitcoms.
Well, I mean, dude, Full House was huge.
Full House,
Family Matters, Sister, like all those.
I didn't do any of those.
None of those.
None
they
of
were in
those.
like syndicate. I mean, I'm 27.
Okay.
I was born in '96, but a lot of these were like just and Seinfeld, obviously. But like all these were like they just finished a few years ago, and then they just were like playing them on repeat on like Nick at Night and ABC Family. But all those do. I mean, look, dude, I'm an only child, so like
Hell yeah.
yeah, it checks out, But like, are you an only child too, or no?
No, I have one younger brother.
Dude, you have like sibling energy. Like you have a sibling out there.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me they're surprised I'm the older brother.
Really?
Yeah, which I'm.
No, you have good. You have some maturity. Too,
Yeah, but
you take care of business.
Some maturity.
He has some maturity. He wakes up, he gets some oxygen in him,
Yeah,
and he goes.
Dude, I'm not. Yeah, I do.
I was glued to the TV basically.
You were glued to the TV.
Glued.
Yeah, we watched a lot of TV growing up. Because we never played video games. We played some. My brother played more video games than me. He's also a lot better at them. But neither of us would sit down by ourselves and play video games. Like we wouldn't. Like I think I've done one mission on a campaign, and that's as far as I made it in about 4 campaigns, and that's like I don't.
What game is Kingpin or Campaign?
Campaign, like campaign, a campaign, like in a Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And we never really figured out Xbox Live too much.
Yeah,
or
did 2 tours on Xbox.
Yeah, so it would be basically when our friends came over, we would play Madden or Halo, and everyone was better than me. And so I just.
Yeah, I wasn't a big video game person either. I played PS2.
Okay.
I keep adjusting my shirt because it's doing that thing in the pants where like it makes it look like a penis, but it's not. So,
right.
Anyway, I played a lot.
Not.
But there's none there. No, there is one. It's just it's doing the thing and it's
sure.
just flapping.
Yeah,
People know that's how pants work, but like that's smart.
Yeah, man.
It's not. You gotta pay for that, guys.
Not my first couch.
Not my first couch. Max is covering up over here, guys. OnlyFans not coming soon. No, but what was I talking? Oh, video games, right? What was I talking about that? Oh yeah, I played like NBA Live, NBA Street Volume 2. There were certain games I latched onto and I liked a lot, but I was mostly just like I loved diving into TV, liked writing, did some drawing. I found my way. Like I just knew my whole life I loved writing, and that was it. And comedy, knowing that living in New York, that's the thing. Like I'm from Queens,
right?
And I live here in Brooklyn now. You're at my apartment. That's where we are. I didn't start going to stand-up shows till I was like 22, 23, something like that. And then you see the spectrum of talent. You're like, oh, like you could just, people get up there and they're like pouring their heart out. They're trying.
Yeah.
Some of them seem effortless. Some of them seem like they're dying. And some of them are somewhere in between that, and
yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of like people watch, like, again, I always compare everything to sports just because it's how I think about it. But like you can... It's weird because people think comedy's like comedy, but comedy's also kind of like baseball. Like there's minor leagues, like there's tier, like because the people you only ever really see are the people that are at the top.
Yeah, no, we were saying before, like there are people who are successful, but you've never heard of them. Too.
Yeah, exactly. And there's success, and then there's people that are just starting, and then there's people that have been doing it for 2 years. There's people that have been doing it for 4. Like not, it's not, all these. By the time you see them, most of them have been doing it 10, 15, 20 years.
Right.
But there's this whole category of so many people, most comics who are under 10 years, and. You just see a whole lot of different tiers of skill and talent,
which I love. I think
it's fun. You see some. And also, it's at those shows, like those moments when you don't have this name attached to someone, and you truly have no idea who they are, and they just light up the room. Yeah, and they resonate with. It's a fun thing to see.
Do you, with comedy, get competitive with other people, with yourself? I mean, you're a nice guy. Like, I don't think you're, like, weird or competitive, like, out loud or anything. But in your head, do you get, like, oh, I want to write something better than that, or I know I have better stuff than that. Like, how do you view
all
that?
the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I think it's good too, and most people probably do, right?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever. I think the thing is, I don't wish people have bad sets.
Right.
But I always want to have the best set.
Oh, of course.
You want to have the best set out of a lot of great sets. Like I think
I agree with that.
I think that's kind of and none of it is ever wishing they do work. I think that's the thing that makes a lot of comics great.
Yeah.
Is if they can take the onus upon themselves. They're not like, oh, the audience really liked that guy, or they were doing. It's more like, oh, why was I not? What was I not doing?
Yeah.
I think that's more. You're always trying to just be as good as you possibly can. I think if you start like being competitive in the other way,
you're right. It's not productive.
No, it's not.
No, it's good. I think it's good to be competitive where you're like, oh, I like that they did well. Happy they're having fun with this experience that we all have, but I want to like do even better than that somehow.
You should want them to be. You should
them
want them to crush in front of you. So you have to go crush harder. I mean, that's
exactly.
You should want people. You should want that hard situation of people, everyone around you doing well.
Yeah.
And you go wanting to be better than that. You don't want to be good on a bunch of okay sets.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun like navigating that too, because it's like recently, I remember like a couple weeks ago I did a show. There was a guy before me he's like a bigger name stuff. He did okay.
Sure.
But like, I've seen him do better, whatever. Just his set, he was trying newer stuff or whatever. And then like I went on after and I got better pops, but there were a couple of people I heard after the show talking like about his stuff, like they really latched onto it. Right. And it's interesting how that can happen. You could feel like you might have more energy out of a crowd, but then you're like, oh, but like something he said really resonated or hit with people on a different level,
100%.
You're like, oh shit, interesting. And then like I overanalyze myself. I'm like, do they not care about my bit about my dad pulling at my hair? Like, what does this not matter? Should I even go to bed tonight, or do I need to be working harder? But that's a beautiful thing too, I think.
Yeah, it's always different, man.
Yeah, I appreciate the hell out of this. Like every opportunity we get, like I love just like Also, I keep in mind, I'm like, there's so many comics, dude. Like, you live 3 doors away from me. I have you on my radar, but like, I forgot to have you on the podcast till today. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's the second max one.
They're the
closest one.
Yeah, the other one had his album coming out. I had to put him on first.
You had to put him on.
It was a timely thing with him.
Sure.
But no, but like, it's like as much as I have you on my radar and stuff, it's like we know so many people in this too. It's like hard to keep track of some people too.
Oh, certainly.
That's why you got to be out there too.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people. It's a cool job, man. A lot of people want it.
Yeah.
You meet and it's fun. You get to make a lot of good friends.
You do.
Who have the
and there's
same
a nice
passion as you.
Yeah, I think there's like a nice baseline level of camaraderie. Because look, there are people who trail off. I don't hang too much. Like I get weird and anxious about it sometimes, depending.
Sure.
I like one-on-one hangs a lot with people. Like I like that. But I do, think it's nice that like for the most part, I think people have a cool understanding and appreciation with each other. They're like, oh, like this is great. We do this and this is fun. And I like talking about it,
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you talk comedy a lot or do you like not?
I won't shut up about it. I don't know what else to talk about.
No, but I think cause it's really just talking about life in like a fun way or like a more like getting meta about it,
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, it's what it's for better or worse, it's just what you care about. And it's what's on your mind all the time. It's what matters to you. The art of it, whether the actual jokes or punchlines are more the art of it or the scheduling of it or the complaining of it or whatever. It consumes your world. I mean,
it does. No, it does get exhausting. Like today, I was teaching tennis in the morning, teaching platform tennis, basically tennis, just a long thing to get into. But I just it's a winter version of tennis in a cage, and you get it.
Sure.
It's niche. It's a country clubs in the Northeast. It's like instead of skeet shooting and hitting quail, they're like, let's play paddle.
But is it tennis?
It's tennis, but with like a paddle and like a different ball, and it's just like a mini. It's like think like pickleball, but different.
Okay.
Anyway, so I taught that, but then it's like I like started my email list. I'm like, I'm gonna get people on my email list. I texted 1 million people, like people I teach tennis to, and then other people. It's like they're all nice and receptive, but then you're just like, all right, I'm writing these emails down. Copy and paste. Okay, thank you. Copy and paste the message. Put it in. Like, this all takes time.
Oh yeah, dude.
I'm not even writing material. Like,
yeah, I mean, but also, it's stuff like, I mean, you do this podcast, right?
Yes.
You set it up, you take it down, you edit, you film. I mean, there's a lot more than just this.
It takes time.
It takes time. No, it takes time. I mean,
and I like it, but it takes time. Like,
yeah, every aspect of it. I mean, it's a one man show in the truest sense of the idea. I mean,
yeah,
in terms of not only like, yeah, you perform, you write it all. Often you find places to perform. You promote it. I mean, for my show, I'm set up, clean up.
Yeah.
You hire the photographer. You set the lineups. You book the lineups. You do social media. All that stuff is all the time until you get pretty good. And even then, it's still the writing, the performing, the audience. You don't do the camera as much.
How exciting would it be to get to the point of like having someone help you?
Yeah, it'd be pretty crazy.
The other stuff.
That'd be pretty crazy.
Dude, I want, like, that would feel amazing to just, your day job is comedy. Like, just to do, we're going to get there.
Yeah, man.
But it's like to like really like have that.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty tight.
I just had like a mirage daydream thinking about that because I'm exhausted right now. Like, I like talking to you. I'm not gonna fall asleep yet. I have a few hours till I have to fall asleep. But it's like you hear my voice. My voice is worn out. The girl I went on a date with last night won't text me back. But like, she was cool. We had a good time. And she's probably not watching this because whatever. But
better watch this.
You better watch it. She's actually a really cool girl. But she's awesome. That's why I'm confused. But no, we're good. That's how exhausted I am. I'm talking about this. But but even with that, it's like, I'm not depressed about this ever. Like, if you have a bad set, you can get a little existential. I mean, do you get existential if you have a weird set? You probably don't have too many bad sets. You're a good comic.
Oh, thank you. First of all, I definitely do.
No, like,
I saw some of them this week, actually. You didn't, but I for sure did.
Well, for you, like, I mean, I've seen you. You've done like at least 2 of my shows.
Yeah, you run a good. Do you run? I know at Boardroom. Are you still doing the one at Easy Lover?
Yes, I do both.
How you had one like last night, right?
Yeah, it was Friday night. It could have been terrible, but it was good. It was fine. What happened was reservation wise, like, we had 25 capacity. I had 23 reservations.
Nice.
And three of them showed up, and so our room was comprised of the comics, some of them who stuck around, and 2 of their friends, and then these 2 lesbians walked in. They were very nice and gracious and fun. And then one couple came in when the last comic was up. So we had a room, but but what's great is though, and shout out Daniel Parafan. You know Daniel Parafan?
Yeah, I've seen him in a mic or two. I mean, he doesn't know who I am, but yeah, yes, I follow him on Instagram.
Yes,
big fan. No, he is very funny.
I like that you said Instagram. Like that was exciting.
Thank you.
No, but shout out to Daniel, because one time he did my show out on Long Island that I was doing last year.
Okay,
I did a couple of them at this place, and I hosted. It's just trying to get some hosting reps when I do these shows I produce, and we had a light room. We had like maybe 9 people, which is okay, but it's a huge room, so it felt kind of light.
Sure.
And I said, it was a rainy night. I was like, yo, thank you guys for coming. But I leaned into the thing of like, I mean, we don't have too many people here, but we'll make it work. We'll have fun. That was like what I did. And he said to me on the car ride home, he's like, hey, dude, like, I had a fun time tonight. Thank you so much. But one thing I would say, because I host a lot, like, don't say stuff like, oh, like, you guys, it's a light room. We don't have too many people, or like, you could. I mean, but I like that was his perspective, because he's like, make it feel like you guys are amazing. I love that you're here right now. Like, lean into that. And I think people do take different approaches, but I like the way he viewed it.
Rather what you have versus don't look on what you don't have. Be grateful for what you do.
Yes, and make them feel that. Like,
appreciate it.
I think it's a better way to set the table, and so I've really kept that in mind and like adopted that. And I think it serves you better.
Yeah, I mean, I hosted a show this week, pretty similar situation. Where there's a big room, barely anyone, and I had a real tough time with it because it's something you don't get a ton of practice with. And it is to be good at doing that is hosting is very tough.
Yeah,
hosting with barely anyone,
tough.
incredibly tough. I mean, to the people that are good. I mean, and that in itself is such a unique skill.
Yeah, because I'm not a big crowd worker. Like I could do it, and sometimes it hits, and sometimes I could really do it.
Sure.
But I feel like I have like a baseball hit percentage. I think I could. I think I bat like 280 on crowd work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it doesn't like fall flat, but like, you know, if you just get like like you're like, oh, they gave me like a nice little maybe.
I do everything in my power to avoid.
Yeah. No. I mean, I feel really good about doing material and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that's a fun zone to be in.
Right.
But then when I want to be playful and be in the room, like, you know, it can work. Like, you know, but then when it doesn't, I'm just like, oh, I should never do this ever again in my life. You know?
No, we all go. I mean, no, I definitely think.
You ever see Eric Newman host a show?
No, I saw him on a show once, but I didn't see
he's
him
a great host.
Is he a great host?
I told him this a few months ago when I met him. He's really nice. Like, because you see on McDougal random comments.
Right.
He's nice. He's from Queens too. And I told my friend that I went to a show with that he was hosting. I said, Eric Newman did like the most comfortable hosting job I've ever seen in my life.
That's awesome.
He was like a hotel concierge up there. It was like, but like with jokes, you know.
Wow.
Like, he was just like, you know, like the house rules he had to get out, like did it as if he wasn't even telling you house rules, just like comfortable, fun energy, and then like, you know, weaving it in material a little bit,
Sure.
but you not even realizing it. You know, like me, I feel like if I'm doing material up there when I'm hosting, I'm like very conscious of that. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna bring you guys. I don't say this, but like my energy is like, all right, I'm bringing you into this now. You know, like
Right.
That's how I feel when I'm hosting. It's like,
Right.
I don't like that little layer. You know.
No, it's a very hard thing to, and I think that's just. I mean, you know, not to take credit away. I think it's just years and years of practice.
Totally.
Good. I mean, but yeah, I mean, to people that do that, and I mean, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it for. If you can do that, it's a very tough thing to do.
Yeah. I know one comic was funny. I won't say his name. Maybe it's not a bad thing at all. He's a great guy and everything. But he said, like, he was working at New York Comedy Club a little bit, and they were giving him hosting gigs because he's, like, personable and can do some crowd work. But he's like, each time I got a hosting gig, I was worse and worse. I was like, that's like funny. Because like, think about that, like they're doing more and more of it, and just not feeling. But it's like one of those things. It's not comfortable.
No, it's not. I mean,
it's
because it's a weird thing to. Comedy's weird.
What do you write like? Do you sit down like I'm gonna try to write something, or does it just come to you usually?
I mean, a bit of both. I mean, I sit down and try probably about an hour a day.
That's great.
Do it during my lunch break.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I think about it all day. I mean, right now, I mean, like, it just, you never really
You're not
stop.
at this podcast. You're thinking about bits.
Always thinking about it. I mean, it's just something, I mean, it's that thing where you just can't really turn it off in terms of trying to think about, bits of material. And it's frustrating. It's really annoying, actually. I mean, just as far as normal life goes, and you're just trying to clear your mind. But it's always working in some way. But actually, like, okay, I'm gonna try and think about this stuff. Like, sit down with I like pen and paper, so these notebooks.
For your stuff too, like, as far as compiling your stuff, do you organize it pretty well? Like, do you write? Like, I have a spreadsheet now. Like,
sure.
I have my bits, and like I have an act, and then I'm like, okay, stuff I actually like, and
right,
you know, new things that need a home or whatever. Like,
sure.
Yeah, you do that.
I don't know. I don't have a spreadsheet. I know a lot of people that do that. Or I have a bunch of Google Docs, and I have these notebooks, and I have a bunch of Google Docs with just the names of bits and just version after version getting updated.
Yeah.
But there definitely could be better organization. I mean, that was the thing I was talking about with another comic, Eric Walsh.
Yeah.
I used to shout him out on every podcast. So might as well give it to him on this one as well. Well, he's gonna like that.
Give it to him.
But he talking about. I don't even remember. I got so lost in bringing him up.
You got lost in his eyes. Mentally.
Oh God. He's gonna let me know about this.
He's not gonna watch this.
No, he does, man. He watches these podcasts.
Oh, he does?
Oh, for sure. I mean, he watches a lot of like lower level comedy podcasts. If you're wondering who your viewership is, it's Eric a lot of Eric Walsh.
Eric Walsh is just like not blinking at 4 a.m. watching this podcast.
Yeah, it's that's so funny to say. Yeah, he does do that.
That's funny.
But I don't even remember what
I don't know him really though. I've seen
funny
him.
guy. Yeah.
No, he's funny. I've seen him do stuff.
Oh, this is the whole reason I even brought him up. he is about how he has an act, I have bits, and and I think that's what he does make, like he does the way he organizes it and figures it out and works into it, whereas I'm still working on trying even to figure out how to have an act, whereas I work on bits and I'm like, all right, that bit's just trying to make it as good as it possibly can be. Not like, oh, this is my opener, this is my closer.
Right.
Whereas he like moves it all around and is trying to figure out the perfect act.
I see.
And that's I think the way he does is the better way of doing it for sure.
Maybe, but what I will say is like when I've seen you feel like there's some cohesion to it. It feels like you have a bunch of personal stuff too, right?
Right. Yeah. I think it
feels like you're telling us about you in a way that seems organized enough.
Yeah. It's all really I'm telling you about me. Yeah. I think and I think that's why they all kind of flow together. And but there isn't an order per se to them. Yeah. I think, which is something and I'm also trying to figure out how to like change it up a bit. Not have the same general flow, but maybe not always be about dip into other aspects of life. Yeah. Or different styles, or just figuring it out. Really. I think what you're doing is very good for building an act.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps me organize. I feel like I have sections definitively.
100%.
Well, it's also good too. Is like, I'm not gonna lie. For the most part, when I go up there, like if I have a stool, I put my iPhone down and like I have the set I want written there. So like I have that as I don't always look at it, but I like having that fallback plan just to look at. But I'll move things around a little bit. But I also know that if I don't put my phone there or whatever, like I have like a little bit of a photo memory in my mind of like what's on the spreadsheet, like what goes where, and I'm like, all right, I'm dropping down. This is like a dating section. This is my dad section. This is my mom and black people section, and like stuff like that.
It's funny to keep them in the same section.
Well, it's funny. Like my mom like started using the 100 emoji, like by accident, and then as a joke, and then like then I talk about black people because they use it and they say keeping it 100 and stuff. And, but then I go from there. I talk about like naturally like my grandma and then John Mayer, and then I talk about. But then it goes to like socio-political stuff. Like I have like a Trump Biden sex tape joke, and then I have like people writing opinions are my own, and then below that I'm like, oh well, now we're getting into like sports fandom because that's the world, and I talk about how it's like a healthier form of tribalism. Like.
It is crazy whenever you see any stand-up set list, and you're like, this looks like a madman.
Yeah, I saw it written on a table at the Grizzly Pyramid down. Like I don't
psychotic. know.
No, yeah, but it's like it's funny. Like I see similarities between like the way I would write, like name a joke. Right. Or a bit, and like how someone else would name it. It's like, oh, it's not the same, but similar. Like we get these like 2 or 3 words that somehow make it sound like a thing.
Yeah, it just clears it up for you. It's like a play. Yeah. You know exactly what it is.
It's like I write like dad/white hairs. Like it's just, they're there. Yeah. And we're talking about it. Like
it's about the 100 emoji.
It's about the 100. I write mom 100 emoji. That's one I've done enough times. I'm tired of doing it. I imagine you get tired of bits, or are you not tired
of
bits?
All the time. Yeah, and you got to, I mean, that's why I try and change them up, or you change the order, or write new ones. But yeah, I mean, it's exhausting telling people the same. I used to have I had a bit that was doing well for a while, but about how I used to have different glasses and bleach yellow hair. Are you guys glad you missed that?
I don't know, you had the bleach yellow hair recently, right?
Yeah, back in like actually about this time last year.
Okay.
And that's right when Dahmer came out. And I was just getting it left and right, and I had a whole bit about it. And it was, it worked. It was a hot, but I got so tired of saying it, and so tired of doing a joke about what I looked like that I was like, I just can't say this again. If you say something so many times, it has to still be funny to you.
Yeah, because then people could also tell if you don't care about it.
Yeah, you're just no, yeah. It's
I don't like. I mean, it's not a big gripe I have, but like I don't like when I see a comic like do something that you can tell they've done it so many times that they really just autopilot it. I'm like, I want them to feel like they're kind of excited about telling. Oh
yeah, I mean, you want it. I mean,
even if it's a facade, I want to feel like you're like.
Yeah, I think that's part of.
Kind of care a little.
I think that's part of it. I think that's part of. Always, that's a skill in finding that excitement every single performance, and also, we're not the biggest comics. We don't often do the best shows.
My assistant begs to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's so you got to learn how to do that stuff in tough rooms and pretty empty rooms and not that often and a million open mics and that's how. And it can be it's a lot easier to lose joy in places like those.
Yes.
And
good bits can go die in a room like that.
Yeah, but I don't think great ones do.
No, I agree with that. Great ones, but like something that you could work on and make better and tag up. Like that's why I try to be careful about trying certain new things in like a dead room for the first time. I wouldn't do that because I'm like I know for my own confidence. I'm like I know that there could be something here, and I know that if I like try this tonight, if it doesn't hit, I'm gonna like abandon it a little too quickly. That's how I view it. That's me.
Sure.
I'm sure that's not a good trade. I'd rather have the trade of like, oh, stick with that bit or try it. But
no, I mean, that's
like
a very human thing.
Yeah, it's good to be honest with yourself. But I think there's also like there are times like I added a tag to something recently that like you don't know. I didn't think it was gonna be that monumental or revolutionary, but it hits more than I even thought. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I tried that, or like, or I do it now. Like. You do get excited about stuff like that. I'm curious one thing though too, like I haven't even asked any other comics about this, but like how do you view doing new stuff? Like how often are you trying to write new stuff? And then when you do like you say you're doing a big show or you're doing a show that's going to be fun and you're going to do well most likely. They're fun, you're going to bring it. But you also want to try something new. Are you going to avoid trying a new thing or are you going to be like, fuck it, we're going to try a new thing right now?
I mean, I think it depends on the show. It depends on a lot. I think you just go with a combination of your best and what you're most excited to say.
Yes.
I think you go, and I think you just kind of go,
that.
Yeah, what do I know is that is good, that I have that is good, and what do I have that I think can be great? And maybe it's not there yet, but like you're like, I really want to see what I have and test what I think will be good. And I think if you do that, it's probably going to make the best results, and because it'll make you also have the most fun. It's basically like a
my assistant's going to run in because you snapped your fingers.
Yeah, when you a compromise. God,
you compromise. Yeah,
I professionally talked in my vocabulary. When you have a compromise with yourself.
Yeah.
You go, all right, professionally, this, and not brand new, but not new, what you're excited about.
Yeah.
What you're, maybe you've worked on it for 2, but you haven't put it on a hot show, or maybe you haven't.
Yeah.
You've tested it at a couple mics, but it's had some real, or you're just really excited about saying it.
Yeah.
Then throw 1 or 2 of those in.
Yeah. See, the other night, like when I was hosting, I made an owie, not an owie, but like I basically like. I had a thing that's like the premise hit, and then like after that it was so weak. Right. Like basically I was like, like a lot of exciting things happening in my life. Like I just bought a new bottle of olive oil, and these girls like that. I said it that way, maybe a little different, and it hit. And then I was like, the stuff I had, I was like, this is gonna be great. That they just did not care. I was like, wow, that was bad. And I was like, sorry to the other comics. I'm not really I'm not putting the placemats out for this show too well right now with that one, so let's move forward, but
okay. Just use your napkins, bro.
Yeah, just use your napkins. Make sure you don't spill any ribeye sauce on you,
Yeah, man. It's, that's part of it. I had that. I wasn't pitching a lot of perfect games this week.
No, that's okay. But listen,
it's it's part of it. And so,
but are you feeling okay today? Like after your tougher outings by your standards?
Yeah, I feel
because you've done it before.
Yeah, and exactly. You
always
go
feels
through.
good.
You go through good weeks. You go through bad weeks. You
go
through weeks you feel like you write a lot. Weeks you feel like you write nothing. I mean, definitely, it gets you. I think that's something I'm trying to work on about how it does. Obviously, it gets you down.
Yeah.
But not letting it ruin your day. Like, instead of, I think that's the thing about trying, is where you go, there's a difference between going, I didn't do my job today.
Yeah.
And, I didn't even try. Like, I did try.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the results that I wanted.
Right.
and I'll go tomorrow, try and get better. And try and get those. I mean, we can't. I think we're saying you can't always control the result, and it's not it's not something that's gonna work. That's part of the deal.
Do you ever take days off or like significant amount of time off? Have you ever taken like a week off or like a few days or?
Yeah, certainly. I take in. I take a day off maybe once every like 2 weeks. When I need it. I mean, I really it's funny because I have a day off or two or whatever. You don't do stand up, and a lot of the times you're going, all right, well, what else do I do? Like, what do I want to do? And then what
do I do with my hands?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do stand up. I didn't do it last Saturday, which was Halloween Saturday. It was funny because my roommate had a thing at our house, and then I was gonna go to that, and then I was gonna go to another friend's party later. And I just came home from work, and I just started drinking immediately because I don't smoke or drink before I go on stage. I got home, I just opened a beer and just started drinking, and I was playing music, and I was so excited. And my roommates were like, "Why are you excited?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going to this party," and they were like, "Yeah, but that doesn't sound like that crazy of a night." I was like, "Yeah, but I just never just do that."
Right.
And I was, and it's the same thing where like those days I want to be excited for, and then but the next day you're like, all right, let's go, let's get back to it. But I don't. I guess I'm going home for Thanksgiving or for 4 or 5 days, so I doubt I'll do much stand up then.
Okay, but San Francisco.
Yeah, back to San Francisco.
Nice.
So I think I think you just whatever it is that you need, you should take. And know that it does go away quite quickly.
Stand up?
Yeah, if you don't do it for long enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you feel like you get rusty?
Definitely. Yeah, you get nervous, you get rusty.
Yeah.
And then you can also get, if you do it every day, all the time, and you never take a break, you can get very bitter.
Yeah.
And lose all the joy for it.
Yeah, I think there's a real balance to strike.
Yeah, and I think the thing that confuses people is when you say balance, everyone in their head's picturing 50-50. Yeah. It's not 50. The balance is 90-10, 95-5. But you can't forget that 5.
Yeah.
You can't forget that 10.
No, you do have to work very hard, but you also can burn out.
100, and you can't.
Or acknowledge burnout and try to take the step back.
100%.
What I do is, I want to get up more than I do, but also at the same time, like, I mostly feel fine. Like, it varies week to week, but like, I'm always writing like every day, and that builds my confidence. So I'm like, I know my stuff when I go up there, and I'm just like, I know that I have this as armor, and so that's why I feel comfortable. Last week I genuinely got up not enough at all, and I felt it.
Yeah.
I definitely felt it. I didn't fully. The one was like the hosting job was almost a bomb. Felt pretty bomby almost, not quite, but just not. You know what I'm saying? Like wasn't great. And I was just like, it's just not getting up enough this week. That felt partially like a result of that.
Right.
It's whatever other circumstance I want to chalk it up to, that felt like definitely like I just didn't get up enough this week, so but that's the thing too, is like I love getting up, so why did I not? And I assessed it, and I was like, all right, well, you had some good reasons, and then some of the reasons were like, you could have gotten up somewhere, you could have done it.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, there's also there's times you don't deliver. You're human. We're all human,
of course.
Yeah.
But it's still worth taking the swings. You have to go take the swings.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
you gotta get up. I get a lot of encouragement too. Like, I don't want people to fail or anything, but it's like you hear some of your favorite comics talking on podcasts, like, "Oh, dude, like I did this theater show last night. I bombed," and you're like, "Oh, I think you're amazing," and you bombed at a theater. It's like, so I think I'm allowed to bomb at like my Brooklyn bar show.
Yeah, of course, it's part of it.
I think I'm required to sometimes, once in a while,
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely part of it.
Yeah, and then it makes the good ones feel that much better, dude,
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course, yeah. It's a fun thing to, yeah, when you do good at it, and especially if you don't get a ton of opportunities and, in front of a real crowd. Yeah, that's just the coolest feeling in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I could think back to just a few shows in the last few months that, like, you're like, wow, this is so fun that we do.
Yeah,
this.
you live for that.
This is the best.
You live for that.
And there will be more of it. There
Yeah.
will be blood too. You know,
No, never saw it.
never stop.
That's true.
What else? Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or like you have any closing remarks or anything like that?
No, I mean,
Plugs, anything?
plugs. Follow me on Instagram at Find the Prophet. Oh, and the show I host with the other Max Fine. It's right over there.
It's right there. If you guys jump out of the camera, come into my room, go 3-4 doors down.
Yeah, it's called Goon to a Goblin. It's in my front yard, backyard, and
Follow that.
and go check out your show, Boardroom Seat, and the best shows
Pull
in the
Up
neighborhood.
Comedy Hour.
Pull Up Comedy Hour.
Yeah, they're great sometimes. You know, like
I've done them twice, man. I always have.
you've
a
been
lot
on
of fun.
good ones.
I've
You've
had
been on really good
I did
ones.
one with, but Dan Toomey had a bunch of friends, and then Dan Carney on the other. Yeah, I mean,
Yes. Yeah. That's right. The Dan Toomey one was hot because he brought like 11 people.
he didn't even bring 11. He's got fans, man.
No, he has
got
real
fans.
Well, no, yeah. There was one time he had people he worked with, but he also brought in fans.
Yeah, man.
The
he's
Boardroom
funny.
C one, there were like 3 girls from England, and they were 18, so they shouldn't have been at the bar. But they're from England. They started drinking when they were 12. It's fine.
Yeah,
you know?
in America we start at 10.
By the way, shout out Dan. Dan Toomey's got one of the best energies.
Yeah, man.
I've ever come across.
He's a very funny dude. He's a very
Funny, works hard, and like he's nice.
Yeah,
He's nice.
Yeah.
You're like,
Oh,
you guys have beef, you're gonna fight.
He's a good boy. He's yeah. No, I've been on a couple, but you run great shows, dude.
Thank you so much.
You're
Well, I sound like I have emphysema with this voice today, but it all happens and it's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah, guys, follow Max. Find the Prophet on Instagram, I believe. Goon to a Goblin Show. Max, thanks so much for doing this. I appreciate you. This was episode 9, and you were on it, and yeah, that's what it is. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having me.